Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and like and subscribe so you don't have to go back to formula next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building Norman Osbourne, also known as the Green Goblin. He's a bit of a scientist, but he's also a big green wackadoo on a flying surfboard loaded up with explosives. Honestly, that's my favorite kind of scientist.
You're fond of me, lobster. Say it. Say it.
I don't have to say nothing.
Danny! Let Neptune strike ye dead, Winslow!
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to glide with something that we can hook up to our feet and fly around the city with relative ease in. Next, we need some goblin serum. Despite 40,000 years of human evolution, we've only scratched the surface of variant human potential. Finally, if we're going to Thanksgiving, we need to bring some pumpkin flavor, or at the very least, reflavored pumpkin bombs. For stats, we're using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just make sure that you've got the big brain. We'll kick things off with intelligence. Your glider and goblin juice are both the results of your scientific mind. Charisma next. You're a raving lunatic, but that's pretty scary. Constitution after that. Getting punched by Spider-Man typically doesn't feel good, and I'm pretty sure you've huffed enough fumes that you're virtually immune to poison. Follow that up with dexterity. You're almost as nimble as your nemesis. Strength is a bit low. We haven't hit our juice right away, but trust me, we will, and we'll dump wisdom. You're the one who's out, Gobby. Out of your mind! If you get upset that Green Goblin isn't actually a goblin, I've got some bad news about Dr. Octopus. Variant humans get feats, and the Fighting Initiate feat lets you pick a fighting style like unarmed fighting to fight better unarmed. That makes your punches deal 1d6 plus your strength modifier and 1d8 if you're attacking two-handed. You also deal 1d4 damage to a creature you grapple at the start of your turns, and since we don't have strength, this all seems kinda bad, but it's not gonna be at the end of the build. Trust me. Really? I just didn't want any other feats for this build. I want to jack your ability scores up super high to be better than human. I guess goblins are better than human. Bump your constitution and your intelligence with your 2 free points, take athletics for your skill of choice, and build your own background for intimidation and acrobatics proficiency. Call it the corporate overlord who uses a bunch of experimental steroids that made him a monster man background, unless that's too wordy for you. We'll kick things off as an artificer, which gives you 2 skills from the artificer list, like arcana and investigation, to take advantage of your scientific mind. You're a magical tinkerer, which lets you put little messages into things, little puffs of stink. They can't be poisonous. Big sad. If you want to make some poisony poison, grab the poison spray cantrip. To force a constitution saving throw on a creature of 8 plus your intelligence modifier and proficiency bonus, dealing 1d12 poison damage to those that fail. Not everyone can handle your gas. Like, the poison kind, not farts. Firebolt is a low-level pumpkin bomb that you can toss at will. Deals 1d10 fire damage with a ranged spell attack and ignites flammable things like hydrogen balloons if you want to attack a parade. For your first level spells, Featherfall prevents 5 falling creatures from taking falling damage as a reaction, helping you save almost all of the Sinister Six when you're falling. I'm gonna be real, I don't think the Vulture is gonna need help with that. False Life lets you give yourself 1d4 plus 4 temporary HP for an hour, giving you a little goblin regeneration if you need it. You can also take Cure Wounds, but that can help other people, and you're sort of just in it for yourself. You know, like the head of a corporation. Second level artificers get infusions, special things to make you cooler than your employees. Enhanced defense adds 1 to the AC of a set of armor if you're doing the movie goblin armor and not the purple burlap sack from the comics. I'd use this. Enhanced arcane focus adds 1 to the attack rolls made by an arcane focus, and you can ignore up to half cover. Spider-Man is hard enough to hit when he moves around like some sort of insect man. Don't let him get the benefit of standing behind a wall. Goggles of Night let you see in the dark in case you wanted to fight Spider-Man at night. And returning weapon adds 1 to the attack and damage rolls of a thrown weapon, and it comes back to you, slap it on a dagger, and that's a little returning gobbo rang. Boomablin? Boomablin. Third level artificers can choose a specialty. Artillerists bring the boom with an eldritch cannon, which is either small or tiny. It's got an 18 AC and 5 times your artificer level and hit points. You can do one of 3 things with it as a bonus action. You can make it a flamethrower that forces a dexterity saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cone, dealing 2d8 fire damage to those that fail and half as much to those that succeed. You can make it a force ballista that shoots a ranged spell attack, dealing 2d8 force damage on a hit and pushing the target back 5 feet. And protector lets you give creatures temporary HP within 10 feet of it. 1d8 plus your intelligence modifier if you want to keep giving yourself more temporary HP. Spider-Man hits really hard. I get it. Speaking of getting things, extra spells. Those are things you get. Shield adds 5 to your AC as a reaction for a little more defense before you go all out on the offense. 4th level artificers get an ability score improvement. Use yours to make your brain bigger. We're about to get some bombs that would benefit from a big old brain. Speaking of that, 5th level artificers get 2nd level spells, and artillerists get Scorching Ray, letting you fire 3 ranged spell attacks that deal 2d6 fire damage each. You can fire them at 1 Spider-Man or up to 3 spiders person, up to you. That gets even better with an arcane firearm, which lets you add a d8 of extra damage to 1 spell attack per per round. Heck, that's even nice when you're out of Scorching Rays. The firebolt you're now shooting will deal 2d10 plus 1d8 fire damage. That's a big old pumpkin bomb. 6th level artificers get tool expertise, giving you expertise with tools, doubling your proficiency bonus with them. I forget to mention these pretty much every time I do an artificer, but starting as an artificer, you get thieves and tinkerers, you get wood carvers when you become an artillerist, and you get one of your choice. I'm gonna say calligraphy would let you sign checks with finesse. You can also learn 2 more infusions. Resistant armor lets you make a set of armor. Resistant acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, necrotic poison, psychic radiant, or thunder damage. There's a new Spider-Man with some lightning that might be worth investing in. Spell refueling ring lets you recover 1 spell of 3rd level or lower per day, so it's effectively another round of pumpkin bombs. You could be missing a lot. All your foes are very hard to hit. 7th level artificers get flash of genius, letting you add your intelligence modifier to a skill check or saving throw of a creature within 30 feet of you, an amount of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier. You could give it to the Shocker, but that's not very villainous. You might be obligated to use this on your allies when you're part of the Thunderbolts though. 8th level artificers get another ability score improvement, letting us cap off our intelligence modifier for some super scary smarts. 9th level artillerists get explosive cannon, adding a d8 to the damage of your cannon's damage rolls, and you can make it explode, dealing 3d8 force damage to creatures within 20 feet of it that fail a dexterity saving throw, even though Spider-Man is really good at those. That's okay though, at least artillerists get fireball at this level. That deals 8d6 fire damage to creatures in a 20-foot radius sphere that fail a dexterity saving throw. Oh no. Maybe just cast haste on yourself for +2 AC, advantage on your own dexterity saving throws, doubled movement speed, and an extra action to dash, disengage, hide, use an object, or make 1 attack. Unfortunately, artillerists don't get extra attack, probably because they're supposed to spam fireballs, but this will help you punch if you want. Also, unfortunately, you have to take a round off of actions and reactions after the spell ends in a minute, or you drop concentration, so I've got an idea. Don't drop concentration. 10th level artificers are magical item adepts, letting you attune up to 4 items at once, and you get 2 more infusions. Winged boots give you a flying speed of 30 feet per round for up to 4 hours per day. Since you activate it for a minute at a time, you're probably not going to spend that all in one day. It's basically just to stop you from saying, I'm going to fly over the ocean. This is going to be our glider. It lets us fly while concentrating on other things, like haste, to double the flying speed. Eyes of the Eagle give you advantage on perception checks, which will make up for your terrible wisdom score. You're just unstable. It's not like you're bad at looking at things. 11th level artificers get spell storing item, letting you put a spell of 2nd level or lower into a spell casting focus. Then other people can cast the spell out of there using your intelligence modifier, an amount of times equal to double your intelligence modifier. You can also do that, which means that you've got 10 free scorching rays per day, so it can basically be your main method of attacking. With an enhanced arcane focus and arcane firearm, this is going to make some really solid pumpkin bombs. 12th level artificers get another ability score improvement. Invest in our charisma to be better at screaming, you're Willem Dafoe, not Willem Defriend. 13th level artificers get 4th level spells. Stone Skin will help you deal with superpowered punches by giving you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage for up to an hour depending on your concentration. I prefer haste for my concentration, but hey, maybe you don't want Black Cat cutting your face off. That makes sense to me. 14th level artificers are magical item savants, letting you attune up to 5 items at once, which is good because you can infuse some really good items here. Belt of Hill Giant Strength jacks your strength up to 21, letting you hold a trolley car in one hand and Mary Jane in the other. You choose, Spider-Man! Amulet of Health bumps your constitution up to 19, giving you 28 more HP at this level because health scales retroactively. Artificers are so good at making themselves living gods. I kinda get why 90% of Spider-Man's villains are just artificers. 15th level artillerists get fortified position, letting you have 2 cannons at once, and allies within 10 feet of the cannon have the benefit of half cover, meaning +2 to dexterity saving throws and your AC. If you have haste up on enhanced half-plate armor, you have 22 base AC. That makes you even more damage avoidant than that pesky Peter Parker. Congratulations. 16th level artificers get an ability score improvement, and what the heck, let's get more dexterity to get 23 base AC. We're starting to get that completely busted section of artificer going. Come along, won't you? 17th level artificers get 5th level spells. Skill empowerment lets you give a creature expertise with a skill they're already proficient in for up to an hour depending on your concentration. Some ideas, +17 to an athletics check, arcana check, or investigation check. This should help you live the easy life. And really, if you weren't supposed to have the easy life, why are you so rich? 18th level artificers are magical item masters, letting you attune up to 6 magical items at once. Ring of Protection adds 1 to your AC and saving throws, so 24 base AC now. That's going to be pretty tough to get through. Ring of Free Action lets you ignore difficult terrain, which isn't really an issue when you can fly, but it also stops you from being restrained or paralyzed, which is kind of Spidey's bread and butter. Taking bread and butter away from a lower middle class teenager? Now you're thinking like a capitalist. 19th level artificers get our last ability score improvement, and we really wouldn't benefit from more dexterity. I think +3 is fine for Gabi's intimidation factor, and your wisdom should be bad for all of your madness. So, tough feat. +2 HP for every level you have and every level you get. We only have 1 level left, but don't worry, it's a good one. 20th level artificers get Soul of Artifice, giving you a +1 bonus to your saving throws for every magical item you're attuned to. With Ring of Protection, that means your lowest saving throw is Wisdom for +6. That's still very good. Like, full proficiency bonus good. You also don't die the first time you should hit 0 HP. Instead, you can cash in one of your fancy items to stay up at 1 HP, as if you weren't already good enough. But now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, your base stats are almost as crazy as you are with all your infusions, and you have Soul of Artifice to make all of your saving throws fantastic as well. You also have 24 base AC after all is said and done, and around 230 HP, so dying isn't going to happen unless someone uses your own inventions against you. I'm torn between talking about all your really great damage and permanent flying speed for the final thing, so I'm just going to call it Goblin Stuff. Look at that. Look at all the goblin stuff. It's so goblin-y, isn't it? For weaknesses, your passive perception is pretty low and doesn't get buffed with Eyes of the Eagle. You're also pretty dependent on fire damage, so don't mess with Mephisto, he'll probably resisto. And you've got multiple concentration spells without being able to focus on more than one at a time. But hey, we had to stretch for those weaknesses. You're the meanest green meanie there's ever been, and a nemesis truly worthy of one of the finest heroes in the history of fiction. Pump yourself up with the best vitamins and the finest tech, then rule the city with an iron fist. Just remember, you can only do one thing at a time. It's not like you've got 8 arms. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Join the Patreon for this character sheet and a whole bunch more, and sub to Tulok and Mango for more Tulok fun.